Good evening, educationist from Portugal, Ms. Ana Paula, real Anna, welcome to our show and thank you. After a long day, you spared precious time to us.
Thank you for the invitation, Atiq. It is a pleasure to be here,
Hello, Anna, can you
sharing
hear
some.
me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello? Do you hear me?
Yeah, yes, yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you. Gigi, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear
Yes,
you
yes, I
too.
can hear you.
I can hear you too.
Anna, let's start with your right. Let's start with your introduction. Where did you do your education, and further your, working experience as an educationist, and what are you doing nowadays?
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation and the opportunity of sharing some of the things that I am doing with my students. Now that we are in remote learning since the 16 March, it is very nice to be here sharing ideas on education, especially in times like this, the ones that we are living. I've been a Portuguese teacher and English teacher for about 17 years. I have started by teaching in a small town in the center of Portugal called Mangualde. And at this moment, I am a teacher at a private school in a small, beautiful village near the capital of Portugal, a very beautiful village called Sintra. I've been in this school for about 12 years, and I really like and believe the educational project that we follow because we are always innovating in the packages that we use. Um, I have studied in one of the oldest universities of the world, the University of Coimbra. Later, I did a master degree in school libraries and 21st century literacies. And I think it was this master degree that also stimulated even more the taste for innovation in education. The school where I work now is Colégio Vasco da Gama, and we have students from kindergarten to secondary education. And for the first time in my teaching career this year, I am not teaching English. I am only teaching Portuguese to middle school students between 12 and 15 years old. And this is a little bit about my story now. And I am now open to other questions that you want to ask me.
Right. Thank you very much, Anna. Anna, before we go towards language, it is always very important to know about the little history of the country. So, would you like to share with us a short history of Portugal?
Oh, Portugal is a very, very small country near Spain. Sometimes they even think that we are Spanish too, but no, no, we're Portuguese. It's a very small country, but I believe it is a very strong country. It has a very old, a very unique history, and we have monuments, beautiful monuments for with things that come from very, very, very old times. And in fact, our history made of us a very strong people, in fact. And I believe that now with COVID-19, it's also showing the world that we have a different and a unique position here in Europe. I don't know if you have read a study done by Microsoft last week. The Portuguese teachers are the ones that are using more technology to achieve students. And I think that is, in fact, one of the main characteristics of the Portuguese people. We don't stop. We see a problem and we go to search for the solution. And we are now living one difficult time, all of us. And I think that Portuguese teachers are having a strong position here in Europe and even in the world, I think.
I'm really just, amazed, and definitely I always feel, proud to have the friends, Portuguese friends. I have many friends from Portugal. I have visited myself as well. And it is always really very much amazing meeting them, talking to them. And I really agree that Portuguese are really resilient nation, and the way definitely you are trying to work in these conditions. The same kind of conditions are here over here in Pakistan as well. As I was telling you earlier, COVID-19 has disturbed, all the things, all the paradigms. Even I would say better, the world order is changing, everything is changing, and we need to, see that how we have to respond to this quite effectively.
Yeah.
Anna, very nice to have you here. Viewers, if you have any questions from Anna, you may leave in the comment box. We can ask her the answers. And those friends who are new to our show, please do subscribe our channel for all the upcoming videos too. Anna, how about the Portuguese language? What would you like to tell us about the Portuguese language for those who are the new learners?
For new learners, Portuguese is not an easy language to acquire. It is a very different language, in fact. But we have some experience with our mainly Chinese students, and they are learning Portuguese quite easily because they are introduced here in Portugal. So when we are learning a language in the context, it becomes much easier to learn it. And if you want to learn Portuguese, I think the key is living some months in Portugal in order to acquire the language in the real context. Of course, that there are some platforms that can help us to do that. But in fact, we can learn a language if we are talking to um, mother tongue speakers now. And that's the main idea that I want to share with you, is that if you want to learn Portuguese, you can read a lot and listen a lot about it. But if you come to Portugal and learn it, it is much easier to do.
Right, Anna. Anna, like, all the languages have their number of alphabets. So, what about the Portuguese number of alphabets in the language, and how it is easy to pronunciate, or how do you learn it?
It's not difficult. I can tell you, A B C, A B C. So it's very simple to use. It's just like the English alphabet. So it's not that hard to learn the Portuguese alphabet. It's much similar to the English alphabet. So A B C D E, A B C D E. So the sounds, even the sounds are quite similar. But then we have the construction of the words and our grammar that is much more difficult to learn. For example, I say the verb eat. I eat, you eat, she eats, right? The only difference is the S. In Portuguese, it's not like that. Eu como, tu comes, ele come. It's much more difficult. In fact, my English learners, small learners, I always tell them, if you can learn Portuguese verbs, you're going to find
Viewers, we
the
have
English
our very
words
special guest
quite
today with us,
simple.
Ana Paula Loureiro. She's
Quite simple.
educationist and teacher of languages. She teaches Portuguese and English language. we will be knowing more from her how to learn the Portuguese language. So let's move forward to the next question. Right, Anna, welcome back. A lot of people are using internet at a time. I guess that's why the internet speed sometimes gets slow.
Yeah.
Right. So it means the alphabets are not very difficult in the
No.
Portuguese. Then uh, what can be the best way to learn this language?
Listen, listen, listen. It's the same as other languages. If you want to learn English, one of the things that it is very important is watching films in English, listen to songs, and so on. Portuguese is the same. Try to watch Portuguese movies, try to listen Portuguese songs, and you will see that you can learn by the sound because it is a marvelous way of acquiring a language.
Right, Anna. Definitely, you have been teaching for a long time, 17 years.
Yeah.
So you must have taught to, the different nationalities, the students from different nationalities. So what nationality do you felt very difficult to teach the Portuguese, and the nationality you felt very easy to, teach the language?
Um, I have to tell you that the most difficult is with the Chinese because the alphabet is different, right? And they are learning everything from the root. So it is not easy for them because they are in another country with another culture and another language. My other students, I have Brazilians, they don't have the problem of Portuguese. We also have some Ukrainian students. They learn Portuguese very easily because they are usually very good students too. So the ones that I considered with more difficulties to learn the Portuguese language are the Chinese, most because of the alphabet that is different.
Uh-huh, right. So even I guess for us also, if we have to learn the Chinese, it's not that much easy because they have.
That's it. It's the same, right? It's the same for us.
Right. Learning a language is really very interesting, but not as easier as always.
Yes.
And how do you think that, do you think that, like, this is the COVID-19 going on, a lot of people must be interested to go for learning a new language. So, what would you like to tell about the Portuguese that many of our viewers they can have the interest for learning Portuguese? That Portuguese literature is very attractive. Portuguese
Yes.
movies are very interesting. Portugal
Yeah.
itself is very beautiful. It is just like a new country in the Europe, yeah, in the European Union, and it's welcoming even the foreigners as well. A lot of foreigners are there. So what would you like to tell our viewers that why they should learn the Portuguese language?
They should learn the Portuguese language because they must visit our country. It is an amazing country to spend some weeks. We have beautiful countryside. We have beautiful rivers, lakes. We have a beautiful sea, the Atlantic Sea, and we have an amazing temperature. We are always in a summer, but our winters are a little bit strong when it depends on the place that we are. For example, in Viseu, in the center of Portugal, winters are much colder than the winters here in Lisbon. So I think it is a very it can be a good way to learn the language, to come here to Portugal and to visit our country. And of course, you can also watch some movies. We have good movies in Portuguese, and Brazilians also have very good cinema, and they talk Portuguese, right? And our songs. We have a type of song called fado. I don't know if you ever heard fado. It's a symbol of Portugal, and it can also be a nice way to learn Portuguese.
Right. So that's really very interesting. How about your literature? Is it Portuguese literature is very interesting that people can have the interest to read, and you have the good writers, prose writers, poetry writer, drama writer, novelist. So we should motivate our viewers that they must try to learn the Portuguese language so could they can, go through this Portuguese literature.
Absolutely. We have very, very good readers. We have, for example, José Saramago. It is a great writer. You can also read some novels from Portuguese nowadays writers such as José Luís Peixoto, Alice Vieira. They are all great writers that can share the language with us, and you can learn Portuguese, of course, by reading their books. José Luís Peixoto, Alice Vieira, and of course, José Saramago.
Wow, that's great. We'll be continuing, and we have take some questions of our viewers. One of the viewer, Mr. Raja Mahtab Hisbani, he asked that, hello, this is Assalamu alaikum in Urdu language, which means peace be with you, or we say hello. So
Hello.
this is Raja Mehtab from one city of Sindh, famous for. Portugal is famous for traditional source or industrial side.
Or source. I don't understand the question.
And could you see the question? Did you understand the question?
No, no, I didn't understand the question.
Okay, the question is that what is Portugal famous for? The different
Oh,
countries
okay.
are famous
Okay,
for
sorry.
something. So, what is Portugal famous
Famous
for
for.
visiting?
Okay. Okay.
And also, what is it famous for industries? Like every
Okay.
country have its own.
Yeah. So for visiting, we have the capital Lisbon. It has got thousands of monuments. Torre de Belém, Mosteiro dos Jerónimos. Near Lisbon, we have Sintra. It's where I live, where I work. It is a very small village, but with many castles. We have Palácio da Pena, Castelo dos Mouros. So we live a lot from tourism, a lot. And about industry, we have a very famous industry that is pork. And the wine industry is also very famous. We have a very famous wine called Vinho do Porto, that it is known all over the world. There are many chefs that are using our Vinho do Porto e Vinho da Madeira, one of our islands, to do their cooks. Cork is also very famous, and the shoes industry. We are selling amazing shoes all over Europe, and quite expensive shoes because they have a lot of quality.
Wow, oh, that's great, really wonderful. I have the good idea about the ports and the shipping because when we read the history books, we come to know that the Portuguese were very strong in the shipping industry, and they went to different countries around the world. Even if we see that they have even ruled some of the countries in Africa, like the Britishers. So Portuguese were
I can't hear you. I've lost
they
you.
do know about the Vasco da Gama. Vasco
Vasco
da
da Gama.
Gama was,
Mhm.
I guess still he's the symbol of, Portugal.
Yes, it is
What do
one
you
of
think?
the great sim. Yes, and I have a great connection with that because my school's name is Colégio Vasco da Gama. So it is an honor for us to have such an amazing sailor giving the name to our school. I can't hear you. Hello? I've lost you. Can you hear me?
uh, what we say that it is always easy for learning any language when you are in the environment. So
Yeah.
do you have such kind of institutions over there which are specifically teaching
We have some programs, some Erasmus programs, and we have many students from other countries that come here to Portugal to learn Portuguese, especially at the university. Most of them at the university. There are some small programs for secondary students, but most of them are for university. Uh, Probably due to age. But there are some programs also for secondary students. You can search the web because there are information on that. If you want, I can send you some information on that too. Over here, I have a question about um, population and area. So we are about 10 millions, and we have about 90,000 kilometers of area. I don't know if you can hear me, Atiq. I don't see you.
Hello, Anna, can you
I,
hear me now?
now I can hear you.
We are just facing that internet speed problem. I have two connections, but both are, just trying to not help us out. A lot of people must be online. That's why.
Yeah.
Anna, my question was, do you have the special institutions for teaching the Portuguese language?
We have some programs for foreign learners at universities.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if they are listening to me or not, but I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah?
Can you hear my voice,
Yes,
Anna?
I can hear you. Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Okay. So we have some
Yes,
uh,
yes, yes. I can hear you.
okay, so we have some universities that have programs for foreign learners to learn Portuguese. It is a great way of learning language and also the culture of the country. And we also have some programs for secondary students, but there are not many. So the idea is when they are adults, they can travel and they can come to the country. That's why most of the degrees are, or the institutes, if you want to call it, to learn Portuguese are associated with the university. University of Coimbra has that. The University of Lisbon also has that. We also have here in middle school and secondary school, and even with the small students. One thing that we didn't have 10, 15 years ago, that is learning Portuguese as a foreign language. Because as we have many Chinese students, for example, they can't have the same curriculum of Portuguese as our Portuguese students have. So they have a special course of Portuguese adapted to their necessities. It is a different program. They don't learn, for example, os Lusíadas, Camões. They don't learn Gil Vicente. So they learn other types of literature because it is very difficult for a Chinese, for example, to read os Lusíadas.
Right. That's really great. Right, Anna. Anna, would you like to finally just give a message to the people of the world in these conditions in COVID-19, uh, that what they should do, how do they should respond? A message for the learners of the world, for the people of the world, please.
One thing that I would like to share is that is very important. That most of the times our students can do much more than we think. So the most important thing is to bring the students into the learning process as an active part. It is very important that students get involved in the process. They create knowledge, they create solutions, and it is essential to use strategies for self-regulation, learning, and promoting the autonomy, creativity. Uh, uh, in my opinion, this is the only way that knowledge becomes truly meaningful. So my message is that try not to give them just lecture. Try to put them doing things, because most of the times they can do much more than we think they can do.
That's really great and really encouraging, very optimistic, very positive.
Mhm.
Viewers, we have our very special guest today with us. Miss Ana Paula Lorero. She is educationist and she is the trainer, teacher of English language and Portuguese language. Today we had a session with her about how to learn the Portuguese language. We had the little touch of questions about the historical background of Portugal, and we are being invited also to visit the Portugal and learn the Portuguese language once the things are normalized. But I would suggest you that in this time, if you are really interested, you must explore Portugal. Portugal is a very, very beautiful
Beautiful.
country, and you may start, you may drop into Lisbon and then you go to Porto and then Viana do Castelo,
The
the
Castelo.
border with the Spain, right? And it's really
Viseu,
wonderful,
Viseu,
right?
Viseu.
So
Okay.
Visio. Yeah, Visio. So it's really very interesting. We have this, you can say this COVID-19 break is an opportunity that well, you can know a lot about the world, because even I would say we have been doing different kind of interviews, different kind of programs, but having, that international touch is being just, given a chance. We have found a chance to meet the people like Ana Paula Lorero and definitely few other people too. We will welcome Anna to see you very soon again in another program where we can learn from you about how to learn English language
Oh,
and to
exactly.
listen your experiences, that how do you teach to the people, to the students, English as a foreign language. I'm really thankful to you, Anna, and we invite you on the behalf of my team of Pakistan Youth Council and Hope TV International that you're welcome to visit Pakistan whenever the
Thank
things are normal. Do come with family, do be our guest. We should take you around and show you the beauty of Pakistan too.
Okay, thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank
And we'll see you in other opportunity. You can also come to Portugal after all of this, and we can get to know some of the things that you already know. Come to visit
thank
one
you.
more time, in fact.
I would definitely love to. Actually, the former ambassador of Portugal in Pakistan, Mr. Joe Paulo Sabido Costa, he's very good friend of mine. He was a wonderful person, very active man. So we were in touch. He lives in Lisbon as well, and definitely once the things are normalized, we'll be definitely visiting you, meeting your students, youth groups, and we'll definitely see things around again. A lot of things are missing. A lot of things are left to see and explore in Portugal.
Thank you so
Obrigado.
much. Obrigada.
Obrigado. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank.
See you soon
Bye.
again.
Bye.